Sometimes it seems like you can't escape them. Difficult people, whether they're family members, friends, co-workers, children, sometimes it just seems like there's no getting away from them. This week I wanted to share a gem of how to deal with difficult people. When Jacob was about to pass away, he gathered his children and he was going to give them each a blessing. And he gathered Shimon and Levi and he started talking to them. And he took them to task for their anger. Let's look at the words that he used. He said, "Cursed is their wrath, for it is intense, and their anger, for it is harsh." He uses very strong language. But within that, he's very careful. And he doesn't curse them. He curses their behavior. He curses the anger, not them. Rav Yerucham Levovitz was once asked if it's okay to hate someone who does bad things. And he said for most people the answer is no. Because for most people, it's very hard for us to differentiate a person from their behavior. And we'll, instead of hating the person's behavior, we'll come to hate that person. But a truly great person, such as Yaakov, was able to do that. He was able to love his children and at the same time curse their negative traits. Rav Yerucham then gives us a gem or a tip. He says, imagine you have a big box and it's filled with diamonds and pearls, and inside it has a rotten apple. Nobody would dream of taking that box filled with diamonds and pearls and throwing it out. They would just remove the rotten apple within it, or they would just take out what's good from it. And he says we have to train ourselves to look at people the same way, that yes, they're filled with diamonds and pearls, and yes, they may have a negative character trait, they may have a rotten apple within them, but we can't dismiss the person because of the rotten apple. And not only do we have to do this with other people, but we have to do this with ourselves as well. There's a very interesting prayer that we say where we ask God to remove the Satan from in front of us and from behind us. And it begs the question, it's self-explanatory that we don't want the Satan leading us. We don't want the negative forces, the Yetzer Hara, to lead us and to make us do bad things. But what's so bad about having the Satan behind us? So what? You know, we're going on our way and the Satan's behind us. What's the big deal? This is the big deal. And I think this is something we can all relate to, is that sometimes we do something wrong, we mess up. And then we're faced with like paralyzing guilt, where really it's the Satan turns around to us and says, "See, I knew you were no good, Nick. I knew you could never do this. I knew you would fail." So that's why we ask God to take away the Satan from behind us. That after we've messed up, after we've done something wrong, the correct approach is to say, yes, I messed up and I've got to fix it and I've got to learn to be better. But I'm still a person that's filled with pearls and diamonds. I've just got to work on this rotten apple within myself. And this is a way that when we can train ourselves to see people as filled with those pearls and those diamonds, and yes, the rotten apples, it'll help us to see the good in them and to help us to not focus and not dismiss the whole person because of the negative character trait that we're noticing, including ourselves. It'll help us appreciate who we are and our spiritual qualities and our capabilities, while working on fixing whatever we need to fix within ourselves. Have a very good Shabbos.